Hello and welcome back to the Max Talks YouTube channel. Today we are going to be going through the a financial freedom test, I guess, and it's from a quality source on the Mirror. So let's jump straight into it. We're going to be roasting it so hard that you're going to think that you're on a Gordon Ramsay video. Anyway, enough of the bad jokes, let's get on to it. So the first one here, having no debt. And by the way, you can feel free to follow along, to create a little tick list. I don't know, maybe look at it yourself, see how you get on. I'll leave the link in the description so you can have a look at it. But yeah, I mean, some of these are good and some of these are, debatable. So yeah, having no debt, of course, a good sign of financial freedom. If you have no debt, then clearly, you've got, well, I mean, obviously you've got outgoings, you've still got costs, you've got bills to pay at the end of the day, right? But having no debt is clearly a good sign of financial freedom. Mortgage paid off, again, I think, this is quite a bit far down the line of financial freedom, because I think you still can be financially free even if you've got a mortgage. I guess, again, these are my opinions. Let me know what you think down in the comments, but I think you can still be financially free and have a mortgage, because to me, financial freedom just means being able to do and spend your money how you want to spend it. So if you have enough disposable income coming in where you have no debt, and then you've still got a mortgage going out, but the payments are managed and that you have income to use in other respects, then I don't see why that should be part of necessarily financial freedom. But maybe I'm picking at straws. Picking at straws? That's not the phrase. But you know what I mean. Being confident I can cover unexpected costs, that's an emergency fund. I think that's even before financial freedom. An emergency fund, that's the basic level of getting your finances in check. Your first step is possibly having some sort of emergency fund to cover anything unexpected. Feeling in control of finances, yeah, makes sense. Saving money each month, again, a given. You would think that in order to be financially free, even before, whether or not you're financially free or not, you should be hopefully saving money each month, even if it's just putting aside some money which you don't touch, which you don't spend. Again, a big perk. Having disposable income, yes, obviously. Paying off any bills in full each month. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything. Maybe I should just not go through these one by one. Having rainy day savings set aside. Not worrying about when payday is. I feel like having rainy day savings set aside is almost a bit like emergency fund, but I guess it's having it in a separate pot. I mean, let me know how you manage that, by the way. Do you have a separate account or a separate pot which you can use for, I don't know, spending? Because to me, whenever someone says a rainy day fund, I think of going to the seaside or to the amusements or arcades or whatever and putting in the 2p machines and getting rid of all your spare change. But granted, unless you're going for a big prize, the spare change and the rainy day fund, so to speak, is probably going to be pretty extensive. If you're using it on 2p machines, it's going to last you a little while. But yeah, anyway, what do you do with your rainy day fund? Because whenever people say rainy day, that's what it reminds me of, because obviously if you go to the beach on maybe it's different in America, but I think most of my viewers are British. But if you go to the beach, then you go on the beach if the weather's nice, but then if the weather's not, then you go in the arcades. Paying for things without needing to check bank balance first. Yes, definitely, that's a good one. Being able to enjoy the lifestyle I want without worrying about money. I think that right there is the definition of financial freedom. I mean, this is the Mirror, so I guess we can't be too harsh. We can't be expecting massive amounts of perfection, but I think that's kind of the pinnacle of financial freedom, is being able to do things without worrying that you're not going to be able to afford it. And everyone kind of, I guess, in a way, well, maybe you don't, but quite a lot of people aspire to be in that position where they can just do what they want without having to worry is that going to be, am I going to be able to do that without being overdrawn or whatever. So yeah, definitely. And I think that is financial freedom. Rather than being a sign of financial freedom, that is financial freedom in a nutshell. Being able to treat myself to things without worry, yes. Not being afraid to check your bank balance. How many of you in the comments are afraid to check your bank balance? And if so, why? And also, what things are you doing to change that? Because I think that's quite an interesting thing, and I'd be interested to know how many of you, if it's not payday or if you've not just been paid, how many of you are afraid to check your bank balance? Hopefully not too many of you, because you're here. Not counting down the days until payday. Again, I don't think that's necessarily financial freedom. I think that's just managing your money well, because you can manage your money well and then not have to worry about counting down the days until payday. Being financially free doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do that. Being able to treat yourself without worrying about bank balance. Do we not already have that? Oh, being able to treat yourself without worry, and being able to treat yourself without worrying about. Come on, you've just added 4 words on the end to make it a different one. Talk about stretching it out to get to 50. Spontaneous holiday without having to save up in advance. Again, I think, well, yeah, I guess, but again, I feel like you should put aside some money in like a separate holiday fund if you know that you're going to be that a spontaneous holiday is something that you would like to do. Then I think you can kind of plan for that and put money aside. Obviously, depending on your financial situations, because everybody is different, and like, as much as this is like, I guess I'm doing this as like a financial freedom test, quote unquote, and also I'm hoping it'll get lots of views. But anyway, yeah, as much as I'm doing it as that, I realise that everybody's going to be in different situations, and not everything that I'm saying here is going to be possible for everybody, but I guess it's something to aspire to be, and maybe you can look at like where you currently are, and then look at maybe what things that you want to be, and like, where you want to be, and yeah, I don't know, we'll see. Being able to make home improvements without needing to save up. So I think this one's quite an interesting one, because it assumes that like you have your own place already, and I guess that's part of the assumptions of this, is like assuming that you have your own place, because rented places you can't really just like do it up or make home improvements unless you're like buying an additional bit of furniture or something. So yeah, I guess being able to stop working full time. So I guess this would be part of like the FIRE movement, so the financial independence, retire early movement. Definitely part of financial independence. It's in the name. The FI part of the FIRE. Owning a property as opposed to renting, yes. Feeling more confident about my future financial position. Surely that's a given. Like, although, hang on, because just because you feel more confident about your future financial position doesn't necessarily mean that you are financially free. It just means that you have a plan in place to get yourself to where you want to be, and to get yourself towards a position where you're financially free. So that's wrong, the mirror. Sort it out. Car is bought outright. I think I alluded to this in one of my previous videos, and I'll put the link somewhere on the screen so you can look at that. But buying things outright, I think, is a good sign of financial freedom, but it's also a good way to potentially save a bit of money. And doing this over the long term can help you to save quite a bit. So for example, like phone contracts is always the example that I use. You can probably save quite a bit of money by buying like a SIM only, and then like buying your phone outright. The car is the same, but again, I would avoid buying a new car. So like, some people might say that financial freedom is being able to buy a new car without worrying about it. Like, yes, it is, but equally, that car is going to depreciate in value pretty much straight away. So is it worthwhile, Not feeling like I need to check my bank balance regularly, not having to check the price of things when shopping, on track to retire early. So like we said, the FIRE movement, having enough money to live my dream life. Yep. Being able to treat my family and friends, yes. Being able to choose anything on the menu when dining out and not worry about the bill. Or you could be a cheapskate, just get like water and a salad or something, and then, I don't know, if you're cheap like some of us, like the extreme cheapskates people. But yeah, I don't know, whenever I go to a restaurant or something and like I see something that's really expensive, I always feel like I can't really justify the price. Like if you see like a steak which is like £20 or something, like I can never justify to myself buying a steak worth 20 quid, because I was like, I could be spending that money better, but then at the same time you could be having a great experience. Anyway, I'm waffling. Feeling like I can provide my family with a better life. Surely that's just another one that they've already mentioned. Not having to compromise on gifts at Christmas or birthdays. Again, to be fair, right, this is a good point, because this is aside from financial freedom and everything, but I feel like some of the best gifts that you can get are like the homemade ones, or the ones that you kind of make for yourself, the ones that have sentimental value, as opposed to actually like buying gifts. Because whenever you buy gifts, quite a lot of the time, unless it's something that the person's actually going to use, then it just goes somewhere and they don't think about it again. They think about it for a few minutes and then it's just gone. And for me, I much prefer like practical gifts or like sentimental ones. So yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Like, do you guys do like sentimental gifts or like homemade ones? Because not only do they help to save you money and help you to go towards financial freedom, but they also like mean more and potentially, you know, they take more time, don't get me wrong, but I think that they have a much better effect too. Having more than one holiday abroad a year, yeah, I guess being able to buy around without worrying about money or what people choose. Yes, but again, I think that comes down to financial planning as opposed to financial freedom. Going out to restaurants regularly, if you like to, you know, if that's part of your lifestyle and something that you like to do, I think going out to restaurants is nice, but equally you can do some nice stuff at home too. Not having to wait for sales in order to buy desirable items, or you could not be materialistic and try and save your money instead. But yes, I guess financial freedom, yes, you know, that is part of it. Stay in 4 or 5 star hotels as a matter of... hang on. Being able to stay in 4 or 5 star hotels as a matter of routine. How many people out there are staying in 4 or 5 star hotels like as a matter of routine? That's almost like an everyday occurrence. I know like basically no one who does that. I don't think I know anyone that does that. And also, you'd get so bored, like, a matter of routine. Maybe that's the way that they've worded it, and they mean, like, every time that you go away, you stay in a 4 or 5 star hotel. But to be honest, I don't know. I'm not sure I'd want to do that anyway, but this is not about me. Yeah, we'll move on before, you know, it turns into an absolute fire blast, and I'm cooking the mirror like a turkey at Christmas. These jokes are terrible today. Spontaneously splashing out on something which you don't really need, e.g. a fancy air cooler or a posh floor mop. Right. Yes, financial freedom, but why? What's the point? Fully filling your car with fuel rather than just a few pounds worth. Again, I feel like that's down to budgeting and not down to financial freedom necessarily. Owning more than one property. That's just being rich. That's not financial freedom. Okay, I feel like now we're at 37, 38. They're really starting to push the boat out and stretch out the definitions of financial freedom to where like it's just plucking things out of thin air. 38, being able to fly business class or above as a matter of routine. Again, 1, why? 2, you have to be rich to do that. And 3, how good actually is the experience? Because I don't imagine that it's actually that much better than just like economy, apart from maybe a bit of extra leg room. And also as a matter of routine, I don't like how they've phrased this, because again, it sounds like they do it like every day, you know, just, oh yes, I'm just going for dinner and I'm going to fly business class for dinner, and then I'm going to come back business class again, you know, rather than driving. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Being able to take the kids or grandkids for lots of days out. Again, I think that's down to possibly financial prioritization, because even if you are doing like 3 days out, you can still take them for days out, but I suppose like, yeah, you could take them for more theme parks and whatever else you want to do with kids and grandkids. Number 40, doing the food shop at a high-end supermarket. Again, why? I don't feel like they're any better than the other supermarkets. Like, realistically, they just offer the same thing with a higher price, and you might get slightly better service, but I don't really see the point. But you know, I guess, yes, if you have financial freedom, then you can do that. The thing is, right, with financial freedom, it's in the word. Like, financial freedom, in theory, you should be able to do basically anything. So a sign of financial freedom should be that you could literally, like, I don't know, buy a yacht tomorrow, in theory. But I suppose it depends how you define financial freedom. Like, for me, financial freedom is like being able to do whatever you want with your money, having the freedom to, you know, not work if you don't want to, and to just live life how you want to without worrying about money. That's it. I think this whole article can be summarized in like 3 different things. Just, you know, not having to work full time for money, not having to worry about money all the time, and being able to live your life the way that you want to without worrying about money. And instead, we can just skip the other 47, and I'm not even going to go through the last 9 because I think I've covered most of it. And to be honest, I think the more that I read, and the more they're just stretching out, and it's just pointless. So I'm gonna end the video there, and I hope that this is This has been exciting. Let me know whether you made it through the full 50, or you know what your score was, or what your thoughts were about like the whole financial freedom test and what you figured out. And yeah, other than that, I will see you in the next video.